What's up? That smell like peach.
It is. It's peach country peach passion. Good evening. Happy Taco Tuesday to everyone. What's today? May 17th?
Yup. Today is
Hmm.
May 17th, 2022.
Yeah. Time is flying by.
Time
I have
is
2 more
winding up.
days until
You heard
you.
the song? It's winding
Mm-mm.
up.
2 more days until you leave your 30s and enter the 40 club.
Yep. May 19th is my birthday and birthday. I will be turning 40.
Jesus Christ. Oh
So
my
you met me, I
goodness.
was what, 22?
Yes.
22 years old. Wow. And
I'd be 40.
then 18 years later,
That's the math.
that's
That's the math.
the 18 years later, I will be 40 in 2 days. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited for you.
I'm excited about it. It's a, it's a milestone.
Mhm.
And you'll be what, 40 in a year and a half after this?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
What's up,
38 and
Patricia?
holding.
What you at?
38.
Oh, it's okay for me to say your age? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm 38.
Okay.
Jesus, my granny was like, "What? Jesus, girl." I said, "Girl, I thought you 90."
Even with the church, I was thinking about how
Oh, I get it.
I started pastoring at 24,
Mhm.
and now they are celebrating their pastor's 40th birthday.
Mhm.
So it's been a journey with them too. So it's
Mhm.
exciting. It's exciting.
Yes,
It's
Lord.
exciting.
Wow. Annie, Patricia, hey y'all.
It was Sunday was great. So we're going to get into the topic in a minute. But Sunday was great with the church.
Hey, we're back.
Okay, yeah, we're
Sorry,
back. What up? What
reconnecting
up?
issues.
What up?
My good. All right. Hey, Marcella. Hey, Danny.
What's up?
Oh my gosh. Oh
Okay.
yeah, no, you're good. Okay.
All right. So yeah,
Hey,
let me get
Rakia.
just get people are talking. So
Turn it
again, we
down.
were talking about we had some reconnection issues, but we were talking about in 2 days I will be turning 40 years old. I'm excited about it. It's a uh, it's it's a great milestone
Yeah.
that I'm incredibly excited about. The church
Mhm.
did such an incredible job Sunday with will be turning
Never ever do it
with
right. Mm.
celebrating me, and I appreciate it because people don't have to be nice. Listen, Cedric, what up,
Hey,
Cedric? Grace and peace be multiplied unto you from God.
his
Listen,
greetings.
Cedric was there Sunday. I was not expecting my buddy Cedric to be there on Sunday, but I mean, Cedric was incredibly
Yes.
hilarious.
Yes, he was,
I mean,
y'all.
from the time he got up, people are still talking about. Remember, Aaronetta was talking about
Yes.
that night when we were here hosting my grandmother's 91st birthday. All Aaronetta talked about was Cedric, and
Yes.
and Cedric. I know you don't know this, but you have catchphrases
Yes.
now. People have taken the things that you've said, and they're now catchphrases. That is crazy.
Oh my goodness.
What up, Crystal?
Oh God. Hey,
What's up,
Crystal.
Crystal? And
Oh my
Danielle did an
God.
incredible job of hosting.
Yes, she did. She did.
Depending on your level of wherever you either say presiding, hosting, or
Mm-mm.
emceeing. But she did an incredible job. And of course,
Yes, she
Marquita
did.
did a fantastic job of actually being the brains and the creative behind it all.
So for his birthday, thank you. We did the church celebrated him uh Barack Obama style, like that's what I call it. But then the way that when the president is getting ready to leave out, they have a correspondence dinner and the president gets roasted. So that's pretty much what we did. We got
Yeah,
a couple of his friends uh from his past life and his new life. And
yeah, and
they
I
did a good job. They did a good job.
and I was surprised about it all. So now I don't turn 40 until Thursday, so 2 days
Right.
from now.
Hey, Yolanda.
But it was just an incredible
Mm-hmm.
event to start off this 40th celebration, and
Mm-hmm. Hold on, guys.
we're not done yet.
Let me back. I just feel like I'm too close to the camera.
You?
Yeah, it's like I'm right there. Mm.
And we're not done yet. So is anybody on here 40 already? I mean, or past your 40s? Julia, what's up?
I'm not. Hey, Joya.
If you are, what are some tips and some wisdom? I'm next year. Okay,
Okay.
bet. What are some tips and wisdom you have for turning 40, and all that? Definitely conversation. And we're gonna talk about it in a minute, Julia. You just
Oh
turned 40.
my God,
What
Cedric.
you say? What's up,
I
Rakia?
stood up. I just watched the
Rakia, you
TV.
40?
Rakia, really?
Rakia, you not 40?
Yolanda, okay, all right. She said not until November. That's the best. That's the best month of the year. I'll be next June 30th. Okay, wow. We all getting up there, y'all.
Yeah,
We
I know,
growing
right?
up. We growing up.
So y'all have to excuse at least me tonight. You get me in my pajamas. These are actually my
Hmm.
jammies.
Yeah.
That I'm wearing. Oh,
Rakia, she'll be
Rakia is like
42 this year.
48. Wow. Golly,
Really?
Rakia.
Really?
Rakia, do you remember I used to tease you about Isaac being an old man? Oh, Chantel said she'll be 40
Hey,
in November.
Chantel.
What's up,
I'm
Chantel?
telling you, November, baby.
That's right. 40 is it. It is it. 40
My goodness.
is it.
Is it?
Yes.
The final curtain
No,
call.
it's not the final curtain call.
Don't you say that. This is it.
Oh, Rakia told me he still is old man.
Leave him alone.
uh, 40 is the beginning of the real seasons of life.
I
But at
know that's
least,
right.
let's
Flat
say,
don't
what at
crack.
least that's right.
Ah,
So I mean, so let me ask, what's up?
cousin! Hey, cousin!
What up, cousin? So let me ask. I mean, I work around a lot of young people, and so they probably think I'm 58. But do I look 40? Like I don't think I look
Oh
40.
God, the vanity. No,
I start.
the children at the schools that when they walk past them, they say he look like Usher. I'm like, he don't look like no Usher.
It sound like Usher all
And
the
they,
time.
as soon as they see him, they just all start singing. He just like, oh. I'm like, he don't look like no dog on Usher just 'cause he black.
It's an Usher and then King
King
Batch. The
Batch.
guys say
Hmm.
King Batch and the girls say Usher. I think it's just their young way of trying to flirt
Hmm.
innocently.
See, Yolanda said you can go for 30 something.
But we're good.
Right, Danny. Usher? Usher?
I know, right?
No, he don't
Somebody
look
else told me I look like I was at the hospital
Usher.
last Saturday, and somebody told me I look like Rashad Tate, which is
Oh
Lorenz.
my God.
What's his
Yeah,
name? Lorenz
Lorenz
Tate.
Tate.
Yeah, Lorenz Tate.
I don't see it.
And it could be just their way of flirting
Hmm.
innocently.
Hmm. That's what it is.
Uh,
Sadie said you
she,
moisturize.
you know what? We got to get into our subject in a minute. But you know what? I've just started teaching my son how to groom himself
Hmm.
before you get dressed. How to groom from head to toe before you get dressed, because there's a whole science to it, and I want him to get it because he didn't have it. He cares now. He did not care before.
Mm-mm, just
He'd
wash
be
up and
wrinkled,
go.
ashy, nappy, the whole 9 yards. Um,
You're going too far.
but see, he's a good-looking guy, so he can almost do that and be fine. But I
Hmm.
like, let me teach you how to groom yourself. Teach you how to, because it also builds a whole, uh,
Confidence.
yeah, a whole confidence. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I don't think I look like Lorenz Tate, like the girl said. I say girl, she's probably 30 years old.
Oh,
At
at the
at
hospital.
the hospital,
Hmm.
and then I don't think I'm like Usher, like about 50 other girls at the school say all the time. I mean, from black to white to Latino to Puerto Rican.
That's Latino. All of them.
Yeah.
Moving forward, Rocky's legit.
Anyway, but I will admit that King Batch and I have similar looks.
Hmm.
Um,
I would agree.
but anyway,
I agree. Moving forward, tonight's topic. Period.
exactly.
Period.
All them trying to find me.
Who the vanity, y'all? This ego on this nearly 40-year-old man sitting next to me.
So what's it feel like being married to a 40-year-old man?
Woo!
Huh?
Ah, let's move forward. I'm just kidding. I don't know. You ain't 40 yet. You still 39.
Because I remember
I'll
you,
tell you
40
in
was
30
old.
minutes. Yeah, when I was young, I was like, I was in my 20s. So I was like, no.
All right. So the topic is baby mama, baby daddy drama or Oasis.
Oh,
Baby
just
mama,
leave that in there.
yeah, baby daddy drama or Oasis. You just can't say baby mama, baby daddy drama because everybody's not having baby mama, baby
That's
daddy
right.
drama. So either baby mama, baby daddy drama or Oasis.
Oh, all right
All
then.
right. So would you have to take a poll? Oh wait. Oh, we gotta ask. Wait. Let's introduce ourselves.
Okay.
I'm
So
Jared.
I'm Marquita, for those of you who are just joining for the very first time.
We've been married for 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
16 in October 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Conversations with Jared and Marquita.
Every Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. So I want to know how many of y'all have a blended family. No, that's not what I want to know. I want to know how many of y'all have a baby daddy or baby mama that you're not married to and in a relationship. You have a child with a person that you're not currently in a relationship.
You asked that question so many ways just
All right, I
now.
had to kind of clear it up. So I'll say it again. I want to know, tell me, text or not text, but put in the comments that
Hmm.
if you have a child with a person that you're not currently in a relationship with, and if so, that is considered as a baby mama or a baby daddy.
Hmm.
So it says no, no, no. Say
Marquita Jared.
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 All right, so Joya says she's one.
Okay.
Me, I was, but he had to go.
You were
All
in a
right.
relationship with someone that had a child and he had to go, Patricia?
So I didn't know what does that mean, Patricia? Explain your answer. Are do you have a baby daddy, or you were with someone who had a child? My husband does. All right, very
Okay.
good,
Thank you,
Chantel.
Chantel.
All right, so we are the same. Um, I have a child before our marriage, before
Hmm.
our relationship,
Hmm.
and so we had to,
Navigate.
yeah, I was just saying the same word,
Mhm.
navigate through baby mama drama. Now we didn't have baby mama Oasis. We had baby mama drama. I was married to my kid's dad, but he had to go. Okay. So
Okay.
now he's baby daddy. You're baby mama.
Hmm.
I
Got it.
got it, Patricia. All right. So first off, and y'all chime in. I got to hear and read what you guys have to say about this. But first off, let me just say that having a child out of wedlock or having a child with someone that you're no longer in a relationship with, it's not a bad thing. It doesn't have to always end up in drama.
Right.
But in large part, it does.
Mhm.
And especially if you're now in a relationship with a person, especially if you're, I mean, and or married, or you're dating, whatever the case may be, and you have a child with someone else, or they have a child with someone else, and you're
Mhm.
trying to build a relationship, um, there are some tools you need. There are some things you need to know. There is some wisdom that I hope some of you all can give. Now, if
Mhm.
y'all don't know, all these videos go on YouTube, and people listen to it from everywhere, and so they need the help. They need the
Yep.
help. So again, I need another poll. How many of y'all were like Marquita and I, where you had baby mama or baby daddy drama? So put in the comments drama or Oasis. That's all I want you to put in the comments. In your experience of dealing with a person who either had a child before you or you had a child before them, I want to know was yours drama or Oasis?
Mm. Drama.
That's your answer?
That was my, yeah. I had drama. What was your answer?
Mine was drama.
Hmm. We lived in drama.
Yeah, mine was definitely drama. And
Ooh, child.
unfortunately for us, it was drama to the end.
Unfortunately, yeah.
drama to the very drip drop end. Oh,
Oh.
okay. Joy says okay. Patricia says little drama.
Mm-hmm. Dre
Joy
said
says
drama.
drama with an exclamation point.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Seb says she wasn't
Two
my
exclamation
biological
points.
daughter, but there was brief drama.
You need to explain this to you. What?
Brief drama. All right. I would call it passive drama. Never directed, but
Knowingly
knowingly present.
present. Mm.
Chantel says drama.
All caps.
All caps. I haven't seen anybody say Oasis.
That's different.
It's not necessarily different. I'm gonna tell you why. Why it is the majority of us are saying drama. Y'all remember the story. No, you gotta tell it. Types away. Types away. Types. Oh wait. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so here's why. So I'll story time.
Story time.
We need like a button. You know how
I
they do on
know.
radio,
Mm-hmm.
and they have these little sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So story time. What up,
Hey,
dear?
dear.
So I was in a relationship with a young woman that story time said it. Yeah, story time second for sure. So I was in a relationship with a young woman that I went to high school with. We dated in high school for probably about 6 months in ninth grade.
That's a long time.
Yes, and we were inseparable and madly in love, I guess, in ninth grade. I was 14 and she was 16, and we broke up. And
There.
what'd you say?
Red flag there.
I had a red flag because she was older than me.
Continue.
Anyway, we broke. I don't know why we broke up. That's been so long ago. That's been 26 years ago. Um,
Wow.
and so anyway, we broke up, and it was not. The breakup wasn't fun, um, and so forth. And so anyway, she went to another school in 10th grade. I stayed at the school that we were at, and she went to another school in 10th grade. I didn't see her until college. So about 5 years, I think, had gone by. 4 or 5 years had gone by, and I hadn't seen, heard, or had much thought, I guess, of her. And her sister-in-law saw me at the college and was like, "Aren't you such and so and so?" They called me Meatball then. So she said, "Aren't you Meatball?" And
That's
she
his
gave me,
nickname.
yeah, it was my nickname. And she gave me her number. This was my high school heart uh, for a moment because I had a few of them. She's my ninth grade heart. Anyway, and so what are you talking about?
Yeah, try.
Huh?
Try.
You know what answer me?
That's funny to me.
And so anyway, we she gave me her number and I called. We hooked up, and then we started a relationship again, and it was 4 years or so in between. And so we were in a relationship for about 2 years, but the relationship was it was great at first,
Hmm.
somewhat, because the signs were there. I remember the first night. I gotta finish the story quickly, but I remember the first night when I went to go see her. I
Hmm.
hadn't seen her in forever, but
Hmm.
she was that high school heart in ninth grade,
Hmm.
and that night I had just taken another female friend. I had driven her to college, to Gainesville, and I had dropped off. And I hadn't seen her in since middle school. So middle school all through eighth all the way through 12th. Now we in college. I had seen this other girl,
Hmm.
and so we hooked. We didn't hook up, but I heard about her going away party,
Hmm.
and I went to her going away party. Anyway,
Hmm.
we reconnected, and we had never hooked up or anything like that. But
Hmm.
anyway, I took her. I drove her to college,
Hmm.
and just being a friend.
Hmm.
And so when I was, what
That
you
you
doing?
say your whole light skin thought.
And so anyway, so when I was at the girl house, my high school heart house, that night I hadn't seen her in how many years, whatever. The other girl paged me. They had a
Hmm.
pager,
Hmm.
And so I wasn't in a relationship with this girl. We just reconnected, but no relationship, was reconnected. And
Mhm.
I called the girl at her house. Um, I didn't think anything of it, just called the girl and make sure she was good. I don't know what she wanted, but she was at a foreign place for the very first time, and I dropped off and she was calling. We talked maybe
Mhm.
about 3 or 4 minutes, and
Mhm.
I didn't think anything of it because I wasn't dating you. I was just reconnecting with a girl I hadn't seen,
Mhm.
whatever. And I should have known then that because she had a whole attitude when I was on the phone with the other girl. But I didn't come to over here to get a relationship with you. I just came to see, the girl I was in a relationship. I mean, in a relationship with in ninth
How you
grade
supposed to be high?
4 years ago.
How you supposed to be high? I just came over here to
And so
see
anyway, but I should have known then because she had a whole attitude about that. And my attitude was, girl, please. And we had a great night. That night we went and
you. After that?
yeah, I mean
Okay.
just catching up, laughing, joking. And she had a baby at the time. The baby was 2 years old.
Okay.
No, it was one.
Okay.
And we just had a great time. And we hooked up, and we were ended up together for 2 years. But it was an up and down, very volatile relationship for 2 years.
Then say
Police.
this is too much. You stressing out.
It was police involved and all kinds of stuff involved, courts and all kinds of stuff. Just those 2 years, we got engaged. I proposed to her because am I taking too long with the story?
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay.
You got it.
After and about 7 months, I think she had the baby in 7 months. I think because my daughter was a preemie. Anyway, so she had the baby, and now we have a child together. By the time the baby gets here, we're always on thin ice, and we just didn't make it. It didn't make it at all. To where we ended up with restraining orders.
Were you together when the baby was born?
Were we together when the baby was born? I think we were.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm. But I mean, it was still always rocky. It was always rocky. So we might have been together. We were together. It was just rocky. But it ended up with restraining orders, injunctions, and all types of stuff that it ended up with. So it didn't end well. But now we got a baby, and so fast forward, uh, I knew that
Oh, I ain't all this.
we were both, we were both. What's up, Carmen?
Hey, Carmen.
We were both jealous types, insecure, and immature. This is hindsight looking on to it. And so I was keenly aware that if I wanted to be a part of my child's life, and I'm a type of father that I'm going to be in my children's life, period. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care what the situation is. You, what's up, Joe?
What's up, Joe?
You, and this is my philosophy. Y'all can say what you want to say, but for me, the mother is optional. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. Not only be there, but I'm going to raise my children. What you do, uh, it's no. It doesn't even count. It doesn't. Not it doesn't count. It counts for the
There's no
children,
bearing on
for
what
the child,
you gonna do.
but it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't have any account to what I'm going to do. Now, I got a good baby mama, so I ain't gotta do. No, no, no. I'm going to be a father, and I'm going to raise my child in the house, out of the house. I'm gonna raise my child, and so that's how I've always been. And so to that, I had the wisdom that although we were not together, I knew not to bring a woman around.
I'm sorry. Joe said, baby mama drove me the topic. Yeah, have a good night. I'm going.
Ah! Put the church finger up.
He
So
flipping out for real.
I had wisdom enough to know not to bring a woman around my daughter's mother at all,
And a
because
lot of guys don't do that. They just
I didn't
it's over.
I didn't need the extra drama of her of me. I didn't need any more trouble than I already had of not being able to raise my child, being a part of my child's life. I had a lot of trouble being a part of my child's life, and she didn't have a woman, another woman to contend with, because I didn't bring anybody around. I had a lot of trouble being a part of my child's life because she just simply wanted control. Not only did she want control, but she wanted our relationship. Um, and I wasn't having it. Although I was the one who ended the relationship. She ended the relationship. Um, but she ended the relationship because she couldn't control me. I couldn't have her way or whatever. Anyway, I guess that's why she ended it. You never know with this young lady. Anyway, it was just a lot because I'm very strong headed and she's very was very strong headed. I wanted control and she did too.
Mhm.
And so, although I was dating other people, I never brought a woman around her, so she never had that to worry about until Marquita.
And sing.
And this was 2 years. How when you met Nava? How old was she? She was
She was
one.
one
She was
when I
one.
met her.
Yeah, she was one when you met her. But when Sharice knew about you, how old was Nava?
It was 2004.
So Nava was two,
Yeah,
about turn two.
two.
Yeah. Because I just didn't bring her. I didn't bring women around my daughter's mother. Now they were around my daughter because she was going to be because if you were going to be with me, here's the other thing: my daughter was with me. I didn't go visit my daughter. My daughter was with me. She lived with me. And so if you were going to be with me, you needed to know that I had a daughter and hide that. And
And
so
did. And did.
and so anyway, the first time are we telling the whole story?
Oh!
Oh! So the first time I allowed my daughter's mother to see another woman with me. Were we dating by then? No, we weren't. We were just friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we were them type of
Did
friends.
we had benefits? We hadn't had no benefits yet.
Yeah, if you ride with me.
No, like we grown
Yeah, we
up.
were.
Really?
By the time, so you tell about the first time.
Ah, so hey
Go ahead,
Jessica,
Jess.
nice for you to join us.
Tell about the first time. Go ahead.
Oh, the first time I met your daughter's
And she
mother.
met you.
Okay, so this is my recollection. We
Now
were
this is
we were
again. This is
in
baby mama drama, and I'm telling you about how we have. Now I'll tell you, we're on the other side of it, so we're gonna just
yeah.
help you out. Go ahead.
Okay, so excuse me. So we were coming. Were we coming from Tallahassee?
We were going to
Or we're
Tallahassee.
going to
I
Tallahassee?
was taking you back
Okay, that's what it was. And we stopped. You had to do something, drop something off. I don't know what it was.
to her home.
Right, to your daughter's mother's home.
Our father was dropping her off.
She wasn't in the car.
My
Mm-mm,
daughter.
mm-mm,
Oh, okay.
not yet. No, she wasn't in the car. And so, I don't know. He was in there maybe all of maybe 5 minutes or so, but he came back down, and it's when he came back down, was ready to leave. She just came from out of nowhere.
So wait. So we got there. I left Marquita in the car.
Yes.
I went up to handle my business because I always try to keep it separate.
Hmm.
Whoever I'm with it has nothing to do with this. So I'll be back. So I went upstairs, had my business, came back down with my daughter's mother and raising my child. Came back down 5 minutes or so. And she
And
must have
she
saw
saw
that
me
there
in the
was
car.
a girl in the
Hmm.
car.
And
She comes.
came like she was like when he got in the car, she was coming out and was like, well, like who is this? And so she came around and I'm like, and you like just
She was very nice, nasty.
like, who is this? Who is this person? Who is this young lady? And I was like, I'm Marquita. Good to meet you. And we shook hands and she was like, oh, okay. And she was looking at him like, uh-huh. And so she left. She walked away and
It
went
was
back.
pleasantry, but I know her personality. It was
Right.
pleasantry
It's phoniness.
in that moment, but I knew, yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen after that, but
Right.
I knew she wasn't, whatever, she wasn't genuine.
No.
Go ahead.
So um she was getting ready to go somewhere. It seemed we thought she was getting because she brought both of the children down. She had a new baby and she had our baby.
Now, mind you, now she's got a whole relationship.
Married.
She had a whole relationship the week after we broke up.
She was married.
She's married by that time? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so we backed out, and we hadn't even gotten to the here. Who does she think she is? And who she supposed to be, her godmama? I know she's supposed to be her other mama. Then she just was going off, and I snatched the phone from him. It's too good to be messing up. Screw the bad song. I snatched the phone from him. Um, and
Ooh, child, y'all need to write a book.
Ah!
Go ahead, baby.
So I snatched the phone from him, and I took the phone, and I'm like, hold on, and I'm saying, going back and forth, arguing with her, and she's like, she was gonna come through the car and snatch me and all this, and I'm like, well, I said a lot of cuss words, and I'm like, you had every opportunity when you reached your hand in, you should have did it then. He snatched the phone back and was like, don't act like her, don't act ghetto like her, no, don't do that. And I was
I'm
like,
about to put you on the side of this 10 West, because I done had this. I don't want this again.
yeah, he like, don't act like her. Don't act like that. I was like, well, you better handle her. Don't let her just call your phone talking about me and think I'm not gonna say nothing. So we stopped at a gas station. He hung up the phone. She called. He hung up. He wouldn't answer anymore because it's like, this is what's gonna happen now.
Drama.
Oh God. So he's like, don't act like that. I just got out of that. I don't need that. I don't want that. And I'm looking at him like, okay, he really serious. He don't want no drama, but you better get this under control because I'm just not gonna sit and be quiet. So I don't know what you gonna get out of me because this is
Going off.
new.
Going off.
So yeah, that was our first encounter,
And then it just
and it
so
continued.
after that, uh that was 2004.
Hmm.
Marquita and I got married 2006.
Hmm.
Between that time and 2006, there was never another encounter.
Mm-mm.
Uh
As far as like,
between who I was with
hmm,
and my daughter's mother,
hmm,
because I just didn't need the issue. Daughter's mother, and this was a lesson for me. I
I'm like,
remember,
oh
I remember going back and forth, and I'm fussing and arguing. And Marquita doesn't know this fussing, arguing side of me,
no,
this mad side of me.
I'm trying to wait, make sure that I reconnect.
Instead of no, no,
Yeah, I just did it for a hot second.
and you're not even the rowdy type. You sweet.
That's
That's what
right,
y'all.
Patricia. That's right.
So anyway, um, what was I saying?
You said that there was no encounter with
Yeah,
she
there
and
was
I.
no other. There was no more encounters. This is the
Hmm.
lesson that I learned. That Marquita helped me mature in this, grow in this. Wherein I was going off on the phone, back and forth with her, and
Yeah.
Marquita didn't know this side of me. This side of me. And so when we got off the phone, Marquita was like, "Why are you fussing and arguing with her? Like I don't like that." So I'm getting static from her, and I'm like, "Why am I getting static from you when I'm fussing with her about whatever drama she's giving me, whatever issue she's causing me?
Any little thing,
Why are
though.
you upset about that? Why are you upset because I'm letting her have it, whatever, or we going back and forth?" And Marquita said to me that I don't like, and I don't want any other woman to ever be able to get that type of passion out of you. I was like, whoa. She was like, I don't want any other woman.
It was mice with that fire.
Yeah, I don't want any other woman to be able to uh, rile you up to that type of passion if it's not me. And I was like, wow. And I guess so that put something in me that she's right. Like no other woman, because I'm with her, I'm dating her, should be able to tug on me or get that type of passion from me. She saw a passion, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And should get that passion from me and should be able to pull my strings and puppet my emotions
Hmm.
like that besides her. Because that meant she had hooks in me that I
Right.
didn't know she had in me.
Right.
And it's like no other woman should have that type of hooks in me. You shouldn't. You should be no. You should be so nonchalant with her because there's no emotion tied there. You should be so like matter of fact with her And so even dry almost with her because there should be no emotion and passion because emotion is passion uh, connected to her, and that set me back like, dang, you're right.
Thank you,
And
Lord.
so
I think that was just the Lord using me at that
was
time.
it
Hmm.
worked?
Yeah. Thank the
And
Lord.
so I was like, dang, you're right. And so from then on, I was it. Now watch. Now I see y'all hearting and liking and all that, but it was a process of me disconnecting because the
Hmm.
reality is that I had been in a relationship with this girl, a woman, for 2 years, and I was engaged to her, and I'm a serious dude. Like if you
Hmm.
know me, you know I'm a serious dude. Like, and so if I propose to you,
Right.
it means something to me. And
Mhm.
so I was ready to build a life with her. And so it was a process of me unhooking those hooks, emotionally at least, that were there. And it wasn't just because it wasn't the day that Marquita said it. The day that Marquita said it, it clicked. But then it had to be a process of it actually happening.
Yeah, I would agree. And he had to actually, like you said, disconnect and detach from that because it was a norm. This is just like that's just her. This is how it's going to be. But you're taking away time, energy, and just more importantly, time from us cultivating what we have, or just from life, period, to argue about air. When I mean, there's nothing that can be done at this moment, or because you said no, she says yes. Now there's an argument. What's going to happen right now? There's nothing that can happen. Let it go. When we're ready to actually give attention to this, then we can give attention to this.
Right.
But right now,
Right. So I had to move to Atlanta, which was something for her as well. And of course, I, this was the longest, probably 6 months of my life, I think,
hmm
because I was away from my daughter
hmm
when I was in Atlanta. I was trying to better myself for her.
now first, let's tell it. She was with you, and then when he moved to go to school, she was with you for a little while, but it was getting tougher and tougher. So
Right. So she's
she
about
went with
three
your
years old when I
parents.
moved, I think.
Hmm
And so when I moved to go to school in Atlanta, I had to make arrangements for her.
hmm
Although her mother was there, she wasn't a deadbeat mother. I just was that type of father. She's with me,
Right.
and so I had to make arrangements. And so I
Hey,
made I made arrangements for her to be with my
Christina.
parents while I was in Atlanta.
Hmm
And for 6 months, she was no, it was probably a little longer than that because for 6 months or so she was with my parents, and she was with
And
you
she was with me.
for about 2 months, I
Hmm
think. And then her mother got a hold to her, and I didn't see her didn't hear from her for a while because she was trying to use, and a lot of fathers or mothers do that in attempt to control, even if you don't want the other person anymore, but to try to control and have control.
Yeah, you want them at your disposal.
Right. And you want to be able to puppet and call shots and get the advantages of being a baby mama or baby daddy,
Hmm
whatever, whether it's monetary, child support, whatever it may be. And sometimes child support is not about cash.
hmm
Sometimes child support is about still
Power.
having control or
Hmm
still having a connection in your life or getting you back, or getting
hmm
your attention. Or I can hurt you because you're no longer with me, like you hurt me for not being with me, whatever the case may be. So all of that can be the case, and all of that for me was the
The
case.
case
I mean, everything that could happen happened.
happened.
And so anyway, I remember I finally got her up to Atlanta with me, and she was there with me for a good little while.
Hmm
Um, and I was working at KFC, and I didn't have a whole lot of money at all, and so I didn't trust, a lot of I didn't know Atlanta, so I wasn't
hmm
just dropping her off to daycare, and I didn't have $400 a week to spend in daycare,
hmm
and so when I had to go to work, she was at work with me. I was
hmm
working in the back behind as a cashier, and she was in the lobby sitting down eating chicken, coloring
Yeah.
uh, coloring book.
And then what? Like I worked at a daycare in Tallahassee, so if I got work, I just send it up to him, and then
Yeah.
he would
So
make.
wait, so clear that up. She was with you in Tallahassee.
Yeah, she was with me in Tallahassee. I enrolled her in school, so she went to school with me every morning, and I took her home. I fed her. She was with
Right.
me. She
And
lived
when
with
you
me,
couldn't
and when
keep
I
her, now we
couldn't,
were not.
We weren't even
married or anything. We
engaged.
weren't engaged. We were friends, but we were exclusive friends by that time. And so when you had to work, you would drive her to Atlanta to be with me, and
Mhm.
I would take care of her. So
Mhm.
anyway, eventually, when her mother decided she wanted to step in, she called the Atlanta police
Mhm.
and called the courts and everything else. So I'm in Atlanta, way well away from you, and you got the police looking for me in Atlanta. I'm
Mhm.
saying I done kidnapped the girl, and then I think she said something about your name too. No, she know anything about your situation. No, she did. I'm sorry,
No,
but
she knew me.
yeah, but she didn't
Oh no,
know.
but the child was with
Yeah,
me and
she
all
didn't.
that.
She
No,
just knew you from that
that day.
moment.
Mhm.
But other than that, that was it. So
Mhm.
hold on, let me pause real quick and see what
Yes,
everybody's saying.
child. You guys see these
Woo, the
comments?
story I'm telling y'all. All right, so Ken said, "What's up, Ken?" Ken say, what Ken say? Try 11, go figure. Trying to roll my eyes, but can't. Christina, what's up,
Hi.
Christina? All right, so Patricia says, I've never really had the drama because I'm the only baby mama, and they never let anyone come at me no type of way because I totally flip if needed. Yes, you sound like somebody that think about keep. All right, the connection keep messing up. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
They don't want me to tell the story. What's up,
Hi,
Arlene?
Miss Arlene.
All right. So yes, Rakia, we definitely share
Drama
drama
stories.
stories.
Yes, ma'am.
So Joe says, "Wow, in the lobby? Yeah, I bet
Yeah.
that created some baby mama drama." So she didn't know that she was there, and frankly, she didn't care until
It,
she wanted.
she had a purpose. So
Yeah,
when when it was tax time, I'm coming to get my child.
right.
Or
Tax time.
literally, when it was tax time, I'm coming, like, not when it's time to enroll her in school or none of that. When it's tax time, I'm coming to get my child. When it's Easter, I just want to see my child. Or when it's not even Mother's Day.
Right, right.
It's like,
But yeah, she was definitely in the lobby. Now she didn't know because I'm in Atlanta. I'm taking care of my child. I'm not reporting back to you every move I'm making every day. So she didn't know, and I wouldn't know how I wouldn't hide it, but yeah, that's what the case was.
mhm.
So Joya says that sounds like something I am going through.
Mm,
My baby daddy got control issues among other issues. I had to take him to court to get my baby back
mm.
because he refused to bring her home. He refused to show up to court. He lied in court. Had to be ordered to bring my daughter home. My local police, Dallas, not about anything.
All right.
There is no respecting each other boundaries. Police be involved. I can't wait until my daughter is older enough to deal with him on his own.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a lot.
So
Oh God.
I wasn't refusing to bring her back or anything like that. I was just taking care of my child.
Hmm.
Period.
And
Um.
then you would be gone for, and we won't hear from you, like I said, until now you feel it's convenient for you.
Yeah.
And then that when you come in, you disrupt the system and the flow that we
Right.
have going.
Right. So daughter, she was
Okay.
in competition,
Oh yeah.
little pageants and all kinds of stuff. I
Yeah,
mean,
in
she was
Atlanta.
my daughter, and so
She ripped the runway
yeah, and so all of a sudden she calls the police there and says I've kidnapped her, taken her across state lines,
and won't bring her back.
without court, whatever the case may be. I don't know. We didn't have any type of
Mm-mm.
court
Anything.
sanction or joint custody or anything like that, but
At the
she
time.
knew street law enough.
Mm.
And so she found out, okay, that I couldn't take her across the state line, whatever the case may be. Anyway, so I'm in Atlanta and I got police at my
Calling you.
apartment
Hmm.
calling me. She gave them my number and looking for me. And so she drove up there with her family, ghetto aunties and cousins and everybody. And they, there you go.
We
That's
back.
only one person. Yeah, they gotta get back
Okay.
on. I don't know. I mean, it keeps reconnecting, trying to reconnect. It keeps messing up.
Hmm.
Um, so our bad, y'all. We don't know what's going on. I don't know why I
Devil is busy.
keep interrupting. So y'all tell me, do we need to stop this story? Because it keeps interrupting. Y'all let me know. Do we need to stop the story or keep going? Because it keeps reconnecting.
Hmm.
Ooh, the story time juicy, isn't it?
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, wait, I'm not gonna go. Let's say hey, okay. Lord, the connection is being a hater.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? So we need to. Y'all want to hear the rest of it? Not the
Yeah.
rest of it because I can't tell you all of it.
Okay.
Lord have mercy. That's just even the other.
Years,
Yeah, that was
years,
just.
years, 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 years.
Um.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Do you say keep going?
I thought it was my phone. Keep going. Okay, man. All
Okay.
right. So anyway, so
So
police
what?
happened
Now push pause. What happened was Jar and his daughter's mother talked and decided, okay, I'm gonna come pick her up on this day because I want to put her in school down here with her sister. Blah blah blah. Fine.
back home.
Back in Jackson here in Jacksonville. Fine. So pick her up this day at this time.
All right, cool. You pick
Fine.
up.
She came that day. I think she came maybe 4 hours earlier than what she was supposed to come, or whatever time they said they were going to meet. She came 4 hours early, and you were out. Y'all were having brunch or breakfast or lunch or something. Him and my oldest, and
My
so
daughter.
yeah, and so they were sitting there eating, and all of a sudden you got a phone call from the police, and the police are asking, just pretty much identify yourself, and then said, well, this is what's happening. This girl is here saying all this stuff, and you said, officer, she's here. She's earlier than we planned, and I'm trying to finish having lunch with my daughter. And he said, okay, see you at whatever, 1 o'clock or something like that. And that was it. And he told her to, whatever time y'all said, he'll be here by then. And the officer
So
left.
she's now in Atlanta waiting in my apartment. She don't know where I live, but she don't know what apartment it is, but she know the I guess the apartment, but not the which
Which
apartment
one? Hmm.
door. Anyway, long story. That just these are just incidents that happen. Now there's two. Now Marquita and I
Hmm.
got married.
Yeah.
So it's 2 years between her meeting Marquita and her seeing Marquita.
Hmm.
So we moved back home to
Hmm.
Jacksonville. We're now married. My daughter's mother had not seen or heard anything about uh, or seen physically Marquita in 2 years. So she probably just forgot about you. Now, I've been dealing with my daughter's mother all in between here, but she's not had
But.
any type of
Hmm.
dealings or conversations or any type of remembrance of Marquita. Finally, we go back home. I'm now I'm now in my drop top convertible Saab 9.3, and we pull up to her home, and I pull up with this woman, and lo and behold, we're talking, and she's being cordial, but
She was
you can tell
brewing.
she still had a thing for me.
Hmm.
And so I'm sitting in there, and we're sitting in there, and in her home, I tell her, "Oh no, I think we were about to leave."
Yeah.
Yeah, so we went and got my daughter, and all right, I'm home. I got her, and so we're about to leave, and while we are leaving, I say, "Oh, just by the way, we're
We're
married."
married.
And when I tell you, she was always, out in
Oh,
front,
okay, that's good.
cool.
That's what's
But
up.
when I tell you that thing hit the fan when she found out that I was married,
To me and not her. Jesus,
it was
Mary,
a
and
bit
Joseph.
much.
It was a
Um,
lot much.
so wait a minute. So Joya asked a question. Joya said, okay, long story short, was y'all able to get past and forward?
I mean,
No.
we have so many child
So
forward.
past and forward, yes, we were able to move forward, but we didn't ever get past the trauma.
No.
Um,
Breaks all along the way.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Marcellus, I'm right. Yes, I'm still around.
Yeah. So we were not able to get past the drama, but we were able to
Mm-mm.
move forward. I mean, and so here's the other part of it. Let me go here to Joya's question. I was getting issue from my wife now because of the way I was handling this ordeal with my daughter's mother. I became more tolerant
Mm-hmm.
of the drama and the inconvenient
Inconsistency.
inconsistent, inconsiderable
Hmm.
tactics
Right.
that I was getting from her.
Right.
Because my focus was my daughter. And I need to have a relationship with my daughter. And whether I like it or not, this woman can pull strings and take this girl out of my life for months at a time. This woman can pull strings and create a shut door on my relationship with my daughter, and has done it and will do it again, and will take my driver's license and will garnish stuff with my check, and will have people at my doors, and will have a restraining order about nothing,
And
about
I
absolutely
understand.
nothing, and will shut down and will move.
Yes.
And will move. I don't know where she is. Won't answer the phone. So weeks and weeks or months have go by. I don't know where my daughter is, and will tell my daughter that your dad don't want nothing to do with you. And I'm knocking every day or calling every day. Yeah, so because of this, I became more tolerant of the uh, unreasonable, illogical tactics. And so I'm getting issues from my wife because don't let her do that. You should do this. You need to do this. And I was not fussing with her. I wasn't going toe to toe with her because she was creating havoc in our life, and Marquita is now having to deal with the havoc that is being caused in our life.
Right.
And I wasn't, and Marquita knows me now. By now, she knows me. She knows that I'm passionate. She knows that I'm a fighter in regards to what I love, and she knows that I know how to make stuff happen, and I know how to. And people don't mess with me. People don't just bully over me. And then only that, but I don't want my Oasis being turned upside down by this girl, you know.
But yet it was.
But yet it was. And I was not. Sometimes I would be an iron fist.
And I'm like, there you go.
And then, but most times, I don't say most times, but there were a lot of times I was not, because I avoided the fight in order to be able to be a part of my child's life.
Right. And I'm like, yes, but we have to build a foundation for us to be able to, one, make this last forever, and two, and two, show the child that this is it's calm over here. This is normalcy. This is how relationships should go. This is how family should operate, or this is how our family at least operates. Without the drama, without the inconsistency, without the instability, without the inconsiderate behavior. I mean, it was so bad to the point where if he tried to go out of town, we went out tried to go out of town to celebrate our wedding anniversary, and he couldn't say I'm going. Well, he shouldn't have said I'm going out of town to celebrate my wedding anniversary, because that was a red flag to her. She left the child at the school and would not pick her up. So to the point where he wants to turn around and leave where we were to come so we can get back to the school. And I'm like, if you do that, DCF and the police will already be there to get the child, because that's X amount of hours away. Just call somebody in our family and have them pick her up, so at least we know she is safe. And that was a whole 1 hour argument, because
Because
this is my child.
right,
I
I don't
take
need to
care of
call
my child.
nobody. That's my
And I'm
child. I'm
like,
going to
think
make sure.
logically. You can get her, but we gotta think logically. If you need somebody to get to her right now and you are hours and hours away, you physically can't get to her.
And so for me, to me at that time, she was first. My marriage was not, because this is a baby,
Right.
and she is cannot
Fend for herself.
defend herself or fend for herself or
Right.
take care of herself. And I know the situation I'm in with the other person that's supposed to be raising her with me. I can't depend on her, so she has me, and I'm okay with that. You need to be okay with that, and you need to rock with me on however I'm uh, rocking with raising this child. So we at our, I think it was
Very first.
our very first wedding anniversary,
And I'm like, we
and
need to play smart.
I'm ready. Okay, look, let's go. I'm going to get my child,
Mm.
and it's a whole argument. You can stay here. I don't care what you do.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
I'm going to get my child.
and when you get there to pick her up, you will be going to jail because it's gonna look as if you neglect her because we enrolled her in the school.
And it didn't matter to me. And I'm a Taurus. I was bullheaded even more back then. I didn't care about the police. I don't give a freak about the police. Let them say whatever they want to say. I'm going to get my child. Period. Um, anyway,
So it
so
was hard.
these things just kept going on and on
Hmm.
and on because of now I can't just say just because of my daughter's mother, but also because of the level of immaturity that I
Immaturity.
was into. Although it was the intentions were right, it was noble of me trying to be be a father to my child, but it was
Some of
not
the
wise
tactics, right, were not wise.
and they were immature, and it
Right.
was also out of ego sometimes, out of
Hmm.
pride sometimes, out of wanting control,
Hmm.
and out of tit for tat, um, and whatever. Although the intention was making sure my child had a good raising and being a part of her life, but it was also fighting you as well.
So what we had to actually understand with if even though he did not like police and the law and all that stuff, you got to kind of understand and learn and know the law so that when you need it to work for you and be on your side, you're well prepared. So
And I
what
didn't
we
care nothing
did,
about the law.
he
I don't care
didn't. He
nothing
didn't
about
care,
because
and that was
my thought was
he did not care.
no judge, no attorney, no paper, no nobody gonna tell me or dictate to me how I'm gonna raise my child.
And so finally, when he started to
Can't nobody.
get a little more wisdom and patience and understanding and trust, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to fight for joint custody. It's just, yes, they just say that on paper. Yes, we know you raised your child. You're right. Check all those boxes. But this is what we're going to do legally. So we did that, got joint custody, was able to get the child. Eventually, she came and lived with us for, on
A
and
very
off,
brief time
different
because
times.
I still didn't have control because uh,
She had a,
the Florida law favors the mother, and so
hmm
and she didn't mind
I mean,
uh,
the police will be called about anything.
doing whatever. I wasn't doing all that stuff. She didn't mind doing whatever.
She,
So
whatever paperwork,
that's the case.
whatever lies, and but this, you got to remember that stuff follow you even after you're dead and gone.
Right.
That
And so
stuff
here's the other
follows
thing,
you.
right? What
So the truth always comes out.
what ended up happening also on top of that was that what time is it?
Child, we owe these people some time.
Uh-uh.
It's 9:30 something.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh girl, we
9:31.
gotta end this.
Boy, finish the story.
Now y'all interested now.
No, because the time, man. I mean,
So
the
the other
connection.
part of it was that my daughter's mother was feeding my child all types of
Negative hate stuff.
yeah because we had children.
Yeah, we end up,
And we
mhm.
had two children, and so now
It's the whole, you
I
got a
have a
whole
whole
nother
family,
family.
and he doesn't need you anymore. He
Hmm.
doesn't want you anymore. My daughter's mother was telling my daughter this. He does not want you anymore. He's replaced you. He don't want you anymore. He don't want me. He don't
Hmm.
want you. He has a family, and so that was causing my daughter to
Hard
rebel.
affinity
And
and
so
rebel.
a lot my daughter would come, and Marquita would have to deal with a lot of issue from having my daughter in our home
Hmm.
because she would give Marquita a hard time.
And it's the
And
whole reprogramming situation. I know a lot of people go through that where you feel like I got to I send a child over here and I got to bring them back and reprogram because over there they act one way, over here they act another. So it was tough. Even with me and my husband, sometimes it'll be tough to the point where he'll be like, it's still him and her against the world, and I'm like, hey, like I'm in this world too. You can't just shut me out because now you're upset with me because of whatever. Nope. All of us are in this world together and we got to figure this out. It was very, very, extremely, very, extremely, extremely, very, very, extremely, extremely, very, very hard.
where's it, Marquita?
It was very, very, extremely, very, very, extremely, extremely, very, very, extremely, very, extremely hard.
Joe said this sounds like baby mama hell, not drama.
It was hell. You're absolutely right. And but then on top of that, his daughter's mother, she
Well, I would be
had
riding, right? I'd be riding, and
And
not
we get
knowing
pulled over.
that she got my license suspended
Yeah.
8 times, times three.
So and then with me, I'm supposed to be on bed rest, but this nigga can't drive nowhere. So I gotta get up
And I
and
don't even
drive
know I
him.
can't drive nowhere until I didn't stop at a stop sign.
Right.
They're like, hey, your driver's license is suspended.
What?
And I'm grateful because all of the 48 times this happened, I really didn't know because I wouldn't check my license like that. I was
But it got to that point where I
yeah,
had to do the Florida driver license check. Wait a
every
minute, let
other
me make
day.
sure you can drive before you go to the grocery store.
And so the grace behind it was that all of them, I got tickets
Hmm.
for not having a driver's license and all that, but none of them because you could take me in.
Yeah.
Period. Right on the spot. Hey man, we gotta arrest you, take you in. Nobody ever did that. Thankfully, I don't know how that.
48.
I don't know how that happened, but nobody ever did. And then that's money on top of money.
No, one time it did.
Hmm?
One time it did. We were in Atlanta. That's when I had to go get all our little
Oh
savings.
yeah, yeah. But for the most part, that did happen one time, and I had to go into the Atlanta jailhouse for overnight.
Mm-hmm.
But not overnight, but for a couple
Couple
hours.
hours.
But anyway, and all that's money having to pay these
Exactly.
tickets,
Exactly.
trying to anyway.
And reinstating your license, all that stuff costs. And
Yeah.
this was multiple times having new babies, and we have this baby, and we trying to feed ourselves and all of our babies, and we got to pay for license being suspended, tickets, and all kind of
And court
stuff.
calls to try to get
Correct.
joint custody and child support. And it was just a lot.
Even I think the first time we filed taxes together, the money that I made was taken. It was what the where's my money? We had to. That's when we found out about injured spouse. Like, oh my God! Like,
And see, and my thought
I
was, again,
signed up
I
for
didn't
this.
care
I
nothing
didn't
about
sign up for this.
I didn't care anything about the law, so I was not going to let the law dictate my moves, dictate how I was going to do. So my
Mhm.
thing was, I was going to still take care of my child.
Mhm.
So whatever the child support was, whatever the tickets and all that, none of that had anything to do with she need a dress,
Mhm.
she need barrettes and hair bows, she need money for the field trip, she need food, she needs some shoes. I didn't care about that other stuff. What does she need?
Mhm.
So that's just how it was.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And then we have to also add the fact that there would be some times where, because her mother had sickle cell, so there'd be some times that she was actually sick and in the hospital, but
a lot of times,
and
not
then
not more, not sometimes. So
no, towards the end it got to be like all often.
yeah, but throughout it, she just wouldn't tell us.
Right, that's what I
Throughout
was
it,
gonna
she
say.
would be sick, and which
We
was
not
a
allowed to.
legitimate thing.
Right,
If she was sick, we just didn't know.
right, and we didn't know, and so we wouldn't find out until maybe weeks or days later that she's actually still in the hospital, and then whoever had the child is like, okay, like y'all need to come and get her, and we're like, well, how y'all tell us from the beginning? And it was just always, and I told him it was always, to me, it always seemed like it was at the most inconvenient time. It's like something would happen, and it's like, okay, right now, we got to do this right now. Whatever y'all got going on, it don't matter because we got to stop what we're doing and go handle this right now.
But here's how I handled it. How I handled it again was that rearing and raising this young girl was my
Purpose.
focus,
Hmm.
um, and I had to pray, and I had to be intentional about creating a balance of raising my young daughter and also being the head of my household with a young wife and a young
Hmm.
marriage. And I had to learn the dance of this balance. And then I had children with my wife, so I had other children to raise as well. At one point, my oldest daughter was my only focus.
Hmm.
Um, Even when I was before I was married, and then when I was married for some time. So I had to create this balance because I felt like I have responsibility.
And that took a lot of prayer and intentional work. Like, I actually want this to actually work. So I have to be selfless. And I have to figure out,
And at the end of the day, Marquita was not always good at that.
no, I was not.
Was not,
I'm like,
so
to
I
hell with
know
all
I
this
think somebody said
today.
she's the patience to deal with this as a spouse. Yes,
Yeah.
this
Oh,
took
both ways.
Marquita through a lot, and she was not always gracious
No, I
about
was not.
going through it. Nor was I always gracious about dishing it out, um,
Mm-mm.
uh, or her mother, my daughter's mother, didn't care about dishing it out, but it's how it was. So
Let's see. Joya says, I think that's the place that I am in. I have become tolerant. I've been trying to keep the peace. Even if I stop answering the phones, he will show up. I call the police. They taken an hour or more to show up. Now the neighbors in my business. Sad part about he on the sad part is about okay, he feels no remorse. The sad part about it is he feels no remorse for keeping our daughter from me for 7 months. He wouldn't allow me to call her, see her. I didn't know where she was at, etc. That that right there, I guess for a parent that actually wants to parent their child and wants to love and be with their child, that is an indescribable feeling. That is pain.
don't do nothing Patricia telling you to do.
No, avoid that.
Patricia talking about just shoot him, girl. He trying you. Do
Stop,
not
Patricia.
do nothing Patricia telling you to do. What's up, Nia?
Hey, Gotti. Hey, Nia. No, don't do that. Australia. That's a heartaching, heart wrenching pain. He went through it. Oh my goodness. It's really heart wrenching.
I really felt like what you say. I really
I really feel like God knew this type of stuff would have landed me in prison. Yes, that's why I thank God I had Jesus from a young age. But I mean, there are times that I thank God that He also do the Lord because there are times, yeah, we could have went to prison fighting each other. Oh, thank God for Jesus. Oh, thank God for
Jessica.
Jesus. Jessica, I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to thank God for Jesus.
So fast forward. I mean, I'm a jump like 11
Light
years
years
probably.
ahead.
Um, my daughter's mother unfortunately passed away
Hmm.
when my daughter, a week before my daughter turned 17. Um, my daughter had to bury her mother on her birthday.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, or
That's
the
a,
day after her birthday.
hmm
So she went to the
the
wake
viewing, yeah.
on her birthday and had to bury her mother the day after her 17th birthday.
Yep.
Um, so that was tragic. Uh,
Yeah.
and it was not until months after her passing, because here's the thing, I never would talk bad about her mother.
He never would. And I am here to attest to that. He never would.
Because, and then Marquita would be like, you tell her.
Like, let her know. She ain't, I'm mad. Tell her.
I
Hmm.
would never talk bad about her mother. The only thing I would say every now and then in passing is that, girl, you don't believe everything mama say.
Yes, he would say that, girl.
And that'd
Don't
be it.
believe it.
I wouldn't say anything else. I would
Hmm.
say, don't believe everything mama say.
And that's bad that you got to say that. You don't supposed to say that to no child, but
Because she would feed my baby all kinds of stuff. But it wasn't until months after her mother passed away that my daughter was going through her mother's things that all of the stuff was coming out, and she was able to see
who
that.
is this person?
Yeah, she was able to see because she also saw. I don't know if she went through my stuff
She has, some.
or she went through her mother's
It was her
stuff,
mother's stuff,
but she saw court papers and all that, and she had no idea I was fighting for her.
but it had your information and stuff that
Yeah,
your input in it too
yeah.
as well.
So she saw
Mhm.
that I was fighting for her. She saw the
Mhm.
court papers. She saw the write-ups that I had to do and
Yeah.
all that on my end to try to fight for her. She saw all the receipts. I don't know why her mother kept all that stuff, but she actually
She
did.
kept everything
She saw all that, and
down to they matching sweatsuits from when they was in ninth grade
and matching sweatsuit and matching fleece when we were.
and the orange fleece. Yep.
So
Mhm.
her mother kept the matching sweatsuit, her sweatsuit that we had matching
Mhm.
in ninth grade, and then when we were together. I guess this was 4 years or 5 years after ninth grade in college. I was in college. We had other matching
Like
outfits,
sweatshirts.
fleece, whatever.
Mhm.
She still had that. And so I didn't really know that she still had a thing for me and wanted the life she thought Marquita was living. I didn't know that because I only got vitriol from her
Mhm.
towards me. I didn't get, I want you. I got vitriol. But that was because she was hiding it. But anyway, long short, she saw all of the vicious
Hmm.
deceit,
Lies
I would
and
say
deceit.
deceit, that was done and that was told to her, and all of the unfettered untruths about
Hmm.
me, um, for 17 years that she was fed. And it created a trauma, a trauma, a trauma in her life, my daughter's life, to see the whirlwind of deceit
Yeah.
and pool of untruths that she was fed. And I was
Hmm.
not there to confirm, because she
Right.
didn't come talk to me. She talked to Marquita
Hmm.
and saw all this stuff. Because I would give her, I would just leave her in question.
Hmm.
Because I wouldn't confirm this or confirm that. She would ask me questions every now and then after her mother passed. I just wouldn't
Hmm.
go there. She found it out on her own because she hoarded all of her mother's stuff. She wanted
Hmm.
all of her mother's stuff. She got other siblings. She got two other siblings, but she hoarded all her mother's stuff, and she went through it whenever she decided to go through it,
Hmm.
and found all this. By this time, Marquita and I had created a rhythm
Hmm.
of how to put our relationship first,
Right.
even if that meant me hurting, not being able to have my daughter in my life like I wanted, but to put us first, and to keep the drama at bay.
Exactly. That's what many of our viewers have to really, really, really learn how to keep the drama at bay and how to keep this this unit unified, strong, and when we strike a blow, it's coming from the both of us.
Right. Listen, Joe coined it perfectly. A high school drama turned crazy.
Yeah, Miss Arlene said something earlier. It's like this is. She said this can get you 6 weeks on Prime TV.
A real life fatal
Hmm.
attraction.
Right. When I tell you, it seemed like this was never going to end.
Yeah, they were
I mean,
And I was just waiting
even
for.
to the point where mother and daughter started going
Yeah,
at it with one another.
yeah. And
But we're gonna unite to go against him.
right, exactly. And see, the thing was is that I even got a whole job just to pay child support.
Yep.
When I mean, I'm gonna tell you all my business, but I got a job because I didn't want her to know my business.
Right.
I didn't need her to know the dollars I was making or wasn't making. So I got a whole job, and that job was only to pay child support. And so that I didn't get a job because I needed a career there. I wanted a job that I would allow her to know what I made at this job only. And from there, uh, child support was paid. I
Hmm.
only kept that job to pay child support. Period. So I could stay out of jail. And here's the thing. Here's the deal. And I'm telling all fathers. Uh, I didn't pay child support to take care of my child. I paid child support to stay out of jail, and then I took care of my child. I'll say it again for those
For the people in the back.
people in the back.
Hmm.
I paid child support to stay out of jail, and then I took care of my child. That was it. That's what that was.
And even with like your spouse, with me, I had to understand that okay, this job, this is what this for. So some people feel like, ain't you paying child support? Well, that's it. That's all. That's just not how we roll. Um,
Child
and then
support
I
was just for
knew
me to not go to jail.
I didn't have my parents to raise me, so I was not going to be the person to intervene or interfere with him raising a daughter. That just wasn't my thing. Now, I didn't agree with all of his tactics or all of the decisions that he made, but hey, we got through it. She'll be 20 in November, but we got through it.
Now, mind you, because of this, because of how the relationship between her mother and I was, it affected my daughter.
Thank you,
Uh,
Joe.
what is that, Mrs. Williams? You are the real MVP.
Thank you,
So it
Joe.
affected my daughter in a real way
Hmm.
that still affects her now as an almost 20-year-old,
Yeah.
because she went through a lot.
Oh
Her mother
God.
moved her away.
Hmm. For years, yeah.
for years, just for no reason. Just decide, okay, we moving to blah blah, and they moved, and there's no reason for them to move. Because there's nothing in it. She wasn't. She had her illness, and everything she needed was
Was here
here
in
at
Jacksonville.
home. To the point
Mhm.
to where even when she moved, she would frequently, because as she got older, because sickle cell does have an expiration date on
Mhm.
it. As she got older, she would be sick more frequently. And even though 3.5 hours away, when she got sick, she had to come home.
To Jacksonville.
So she had no reason. She had no reason to leave aside from. Well, I don't know. I can't say why she left, but it just wasn't. It didn't make any. It didn't make parental sense because
Mhm.
all of the children she had, all of the other parties of those children were here.
Right.
Um,
That's a good way to put it.
yeah, and so um, anyway, and then her health,
Right.
her family was here anyway,
Right.
and so it created more issue.
Even to the point where he would be like,
Jesus and
okay,
Hennessy would have been my best friend.
hmm.
Go ahead, babe. I'm sorry.
It got to the point where he would have to, when we find out, the child, okay, so she's 3.5 hours away at home, in what, South Carolina,
I
and
wasn't trying to
you're
see where she
here.
was, Marquita.
Okay, wherever, and we're in Jacksonville. Well, what's gonna happen now?
Keep going.
And so he would have to drive, or he would decide to drive and go get her, because I'm still going to protect and provide. That was a lot. A lot of men wouldn't have did that.
Yeah, because yeah, and then I would just go up there to just spend time with
Yep.
her, because I'm gonna be in her life. So
Right.
I go and get her out of school. Sometimes I would go get her out of school, and if she was mad at me for whatever reason, because I didn't do something she wanted me to do or didn't answer the phone or whatever the case may be, she would take me off the blue card.
Hmm.
And then next week I'm back on the blue card,
Yep.
and I go drive 3 hours, rent a rental car, and drive 3 hours, and go to school to go just have lunch with her in school. And she would call before I
Yep.
got there
Or
because
as you're walking in the
or as
door,
I'm walking in the door, because she's mad about something that I didn't, that I don't know, whatever she was trying to do, and I don't know
any
whatever she was trying to
slightest stupidest thing you could think of.
do. And while I'm there, and knowing I'm going in the door, she called, take him off the blue card. I don't want him on the blue card.
Hmm.
And so it was all of that. And so it was just a lot. It was a lot. And
And
so
then
anyway, I
that's
would.
crazy though.
There were times where I did go pick her up, and we had a good time. We take her out. We just have just fun. Take her
Hmm.
here, take her to the mall, just to the mall, just whatever, just eating whatever. And then I would take her back home. It'd be late at night because she lives so far away. So I didn't spend the night there. I had to go back to Marquita and my children.
Yeah, wasn't
And
no
I would
spending the
take her
night.
back at 11 o'clock at night because we just hanging out. And they lived in
Ooh.
the boonies where there were no
Mhm.
street lights. They lived in the
Mhm.
woods.
Mhm.
They were literally wherein when they took the trash out, they didn't take the trash out to the front, like we do in a trash can. They took the trash out. They live in the country, is what I would say.
The country.
They would take the trash out to the backyard and burn it because
Mhm.
there was no trash man
Right.
coming
Right.
around,
Mhm.
and there was no Walmart. There was no restaurants in the area to get food. They would wait till the little small little boat came down in a
With meat and
backyard
stuff. Mhm.
in the back to get fish off the boat. Anyway,
Just hard living.
different living. It may not have been hard for them. I don't know. It was different living. Anyway, Uh, and I realized when I took, because there was no lights, it was pitch black, and I'm not gonna let my daughter go in the house, you know, pitch black dark until I know she's safe.
Right.
And she would knock on the door, be like, "Daddy, you can go ahead, go." And I'm like, "Girl, it's 11 o'clock at night. I can't even see you because it's so dark out here." And then she wouldn't want to tell me because she's trying to protect her mother as a mother
Mhm.
that
She's not there.
she's not even there at home. Not only is she not there, but she is back in another state. She's back home where I am in the hospital and has been there for 3 weeks. My daughter's here, and that would happen constantly, and I wouldn't know. I'm taking her back home, and her mother's not there. Hadn't been there for 2 or 3 weeks. She's in the hospital, and back home in Florida, she has three young
So that leaves her
teenage
to have to
daughters.
kind of
there.
raise yourself.
And so I wasn't having it. So no, you're not going in there.
Mhm.
You
When
wait in
you
the
did
car.
find out.
And when I did find out, you get back in the car and you're going to Florida with me. So all that what happened? What's the question?
Mm.
Go ahead, read it.
Joe says, "Do you believe that her being sick caused some of this hateful stuff?"
Yes.
Yes. Yep, definitely.
Yes. I think, you're sick and she was sick. Anybody that has sick cell is sick from a child up.
Hmm.
So it could be resentment, resenting that your life is going like it is because you're sick and you can't do all the things everybody else can do. She was a normal person. Now she was a normal person. She had 3 children. I mean, some don't have one.
Any, right.
And she lived a normal person's life, but she was sick. And I cannot take that away. She was
Right.
sick. She would be hurting, whatever the case may
The
be.
crisis. They would sickle cell patients have crises
Right.
because their blood is not like a
Right.
circle oblong shape. It's more
Uh,
sickle, like crescent
and
moon.
most of y'all know about that.
And when it goes through your veins, it's just extremely painful because it's not flowing smoothly.
And
So
so,
everything hurts.
right. But I mean, still, you can resent that.
Hmm.
You see somebody else's life, and that's just like if you're in a wheelchair and you see somebody running and jumping and running track, and you can't. You can resent
And
that.
then
And
so with that, she could have resented, but she commanded and demanded a lot of attention from anybody. And so when you have people like that, sometimes they'll use that negatively, and then other times it's like, okay, you really need this attention, or you really need my attention, or you really need help right now. And that's just
there'll
the
be some days where she be the sweetest person
hmm
to both of
some
us,
hours, some
or some
hours.
hours. She be the sweetest person.
Hmm.
And then
I mean,
anyway,
come inside and be nice, talking and everything. Let's talk level headed, and then walk outside, and it's a whole nother story.
yeah. So anyway, we made it through. Just like Arlene said,
Yes,
y'all
Miss
made it through.
Arlene.
I mean, I'm gonna believe it. But baby mama drama, baby daddy drama can exist when there is immaturity there, when there is jealousy there, and all that will, for the most part, will have its place.
Hmm.
All you may get over it. But for a season, jealousy, resentment, bitterness, anger, all of that will have a season when you have a baby mama and you move on. It's going. I don't care how mature you think you are. It
Hmm.
will have its season. It may not be as dramatic as ours was, or
Hmm.
as catastrophic as ours was, but it will have its season. Where you have to contend with that. And that's why again I say you have to create priorities.
True, very much, and you have to create a stable, as stable as you can within your immediacy, your immediate space. You have to create stability, consistency, using wisdom, and you have to always show love, always spread love, because that stuff it has residue.
Yeah. And I made it a priority to keep to put Marquita first.
That is hard for a lot of spouses to actually hear and understand because they feel like he felt, this is my baby, this is my child. This child was here before you. I
Right.
gotta take care of this child. Even when I had children, I had to understand this is still my lifelong partner. He's half of me. We may not be conjoined, but he is half of me. So for mama bears, it's very, very difficult. And then for father bears, it's very difficult to ask for a lot of people because in their mind they're trying to compute. You grown, you can fend for yourself. This is a baby. This baby can't.
Right.
But there is a place for everyone, and there is a way that you can make it work.
And her mother was also a mama bear.
Hmm.
She loved her children. She had her ways, but she was a mama bear.
Hmm.
She loved her children. And she just went through what she went through because there would be times where she would be sick and she would say to me, she'd get on the phone with me
Yeah.
and she would say, Jar, out of anybody, she got mama, daddy, she got other baby daddies and all that, and she would say, Jar, out of anybody, if something happened to me, I want you to take care of my daughters, all of them.
All three of
I want you to take
them.
care of them. Now she didn't put them other baby daddies through the hell she put them through.
Hmm.
This is not opinion. This is facts. She and they did not. They were not there for their daughters, but she put me through hell, and she did
Pure
not
hell.
put them through that. But she would
Fact.
say this was years before she passed away.
Right. When she felt
She
like
would
she
do
was
this
there.
2 or 3 times. She did it
Mhm.
2 or 3 times throughout my knowing her. She would say, "I want you to take care of. Don't split my daughters up. I
Right. That
want
was
you
her. That was a
to
fear.
yeah. I don't want to split. I want you to take care of them." And then
Mhm.
she would say that to me. And
And
then right after I got off the phone with her, and she talked to my daughter, she would say, you can emancipate from
when you turn 16,
him.
what? And I know I'm on speakerphone,
You,
girl.
you, you, you ain't got to stay there with him. What are you talking about, girl?
Like literally night and day.
I would get off the phone with her, and she would be just as sweet as pie. And you would think she mean what she said, and she probably did. I want you to take care of them. You are this, you're that. And as soon as I get off the phone with her and hand the phone, here, baby, here your mama. Now, all you gotta do is go down to the courthouse and emancipate. And I think it was, she didn't want to feel like she was helpless or I was taking them from her. So she would just go through those mental struggles and emotional struggles herself. All right, let
Mhm.
me finish this
Oh
point.
yeah, Shayla said she wanted you back up until the day she passed.
And that was true. So Joseph said, "Dang man, this was horrible. This not regular drama. It was fueled by her hurt and pain from her being sick."
Mhm.
Jessica says, "I couldn't do it. I'm not that mature. I would be in jail." Shayla said, "What's up, cousin?
Hey, cousin.
It's just too bad that people that behave this way don't get the child is the one that actually suffers."
Mhm.
Yes. Jessica says she wanted you back. Yes. Shayla says it is possible that she also had a mental illness, and it could be possible. Now, and I found out that now, and here's the other thing: my daughter wanted her mother and me to be together
Together. So that was
the
another thing.
entire
The
time.
entire time.
Why I don't know, but I guess every child want their mother
And
and
then
father to
at
be together.
certain points, she didn't want nobody to be with her dad. She was just, we could be sitting here talking to each other, and she would come and say, "I wish it was just me and you, daddy." And he would have to say, "Okay, let's sit down and have a talk about this. It's
And sometimes I
you."
would have a talk about this, and sometimes I was right, and
When she
sometimes
was
I would
very young, though, you would have to
right,
talk to her.
and sometimes I would give her my attention. We go off and go get something to eat or something. So sometimes because I was good at that. Sometimes I wasn't so good at that. 'Cause I guess I was where she could melt my heart. Uh, Although I would see stuff, she could melt my heart at times. Sometimes I'd be like, look, it ain't gonna happen.
And then she like,
Ain't gonna be no me and your mama. Ain't gonna be.
and she wanted to the point where all us live together. All of us just live together, so we could just all be one big happy
And
family.
me and her mama would be together. Marquita just cleaning up the house and cooking.
Mhm. And I'm just there.
Uh,
Yeah,
but
that was extremely
when she
painful.
passed, actually passed rather, my daughter told us that she talked about me a lot,
Mhm.
even up until she passed. The day before she passed, she was now I hadn't talked to her for a while,
Months.
but she was talking about me and that she was comparing me to the rest of the other baby daddies. Anyway, that's no neither here nor there. But we so the point is, baby mom, baby daddy drama can exist, and you gotta know how to navigate it and do it well for the sake of what you have and for the
Mhm.
sake of the child.
Mhm.
All right, I'm stopping it, baby. Danielle says, "Oh, for sure, she was mentally disadvantaged." That's what
Boy,
Danielle
she
said.
put some words
How painful
together.
that to be for you. All right, and I mean, and it's not kidding for us. We made it through. How? Now look at it now. I mean, she's not a wolf. She wasn't a wolf, and she
Or no
wasn't
bell.
no mountain we couldn't climb. It was just
It's
having to
just why.
be mature enough to create peace in our own atmosphere and to demand peace for our own atmosphere through
Mhm.
from us and from others.
Mhm.
Uh,
It was, yeah, it was, yes, Joe. It was very heavy. I mean, even to the point because there's a lot of foundational stuff that, like I said, residue that still resided, and we had to battle with that after her passing. We had to battle with that with our child.
and so now my daughter deals with, or maybe even suffers from, uh, mental disadvantage, where she's just, thankfully she's not depressed. Well, she was depressed for a while because her mother
Her
passed.
mother passed
But she's
around her
not
birthday.
uh, deranged,
Mhm.
but she just has a lot of trauma
Mhm.
in her life and in her past and drama. Um, uh,
Mhm.
that's almost baked in to
Correct.
her
Correct.
mentality.
Correct.
And so she's a very keen young woman. She's smart. She's intellectual wise, but she also has the extreme bad of both her parents.
Mhm.
She's extreme bad of me and extreme bad of her mama.
Mhm.
Not a good combination.
Not a good combination.
And so she has to deal with it. And she saw the tumultuous
Yeah.
relationship between the life that we have.
Mhm.
But it can work, and it doesn't have to be because of a passing of a person.
Right.
Because we were working it, although it was still hard. We were navigating through it because of priorities, putting priorities in place, and demanding peace for yourself, demanding peace from others. It worked. Good night.
A lot of prayer.
Y'all
A lot
share
of wisdom.
this. Share this. Th- Listen, they liked a good tea because they hung on. I mean, the numbers ain't dropped. They hung on to every drop of tea that was being slung tonight. But we just share this just for y'all entertainment. We share this to help. So y'all share this if y'all think this would help anybody. Praying continuous strength.
Thank you,
Um,
Miss Arlene.
Absolutely. You never know what a person is going through. You never know what's behind the story behind the life that you see.
Yeah.
But we are witness that
Mm.
all things work together for those who love God and are called to purpose.
Yeah. So we got every bit of it.
They are about to have me a drink. Look,
Ah! Pour it up, pour it up.
good night, y'all.
Good night.